What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is episode 10, season 13. So let's get into it. So before we get into it, I want to get a little spicy, just a little, and talk about Melissa and this one question that she responded to on Watch What Happens Live. She and Joe were on Watch What Happens Live the Tuesday evening after this episode premiere, and I just want to talk about this clip that I saw going around, and I just want to give you guys my thoughts. So I'm going to play the clip, and then we're going to talk about it. So let's get to it.
Scary. I'm going to sleep the day before. I decided, like, I don't want to know anything. I want to sleep the whole day. I want to be very prepared. I want to, like, have my receipts this time because I haven't felt like I need to have receipts in a very long time. But I feel like there's a lot of accusations that aren't true. There's a lot of twists and turns, and they haven't done that in a while. There's a lot of, like, I need to prove a lot, which I'm so upset about.
I'm trying to figure out how deep we go, because
go deep.
It seems done.
No, go
but you
deep.
all seem done. I mean,
No, we're not done.
No, I
Who's
agree.
done?
Like, how deep?
not done.
Who's
I mean,
done?
you all seem complete in your resolution to move on from each other. That's what I'm saying. In other words, I don't feel that I'm going to get any kind of resolution out of the reunion.
And that's
what I'm
fair
saying.
because you're not a therapist, right? Are you certified?
Well, I mean, okay, well, let's not question my credentials.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, I'm certified.
You are?
Well, no, but after 16 years of doing this, I think I have some idea of what I'm doing.
No, you are. You're technically a therapist, but like you know better than to try to work with us, right?
I know.
Like the Jersey fam and the therapy. Sometimes it works. And
It's never
sometimes
done.
it
It's
doesn't.
never done. It's family, bro. What do you walk away from family? Come on. What's the matter with you? What are we, animals?
Okay, here we are.
What are we, animals?
Wow,
You're never done.
Okay, well, you just got me resolute.
Oh, Jesus.
You just heard the audio from Watch What Happens Live where Andy was speaking to Melissa about the reunion and pretty much saying how he doesn't know how deep to go anymore because it seems like you guys are pretty much done pertaining to their relationship with Teresa. And you got Joe in the audience talking about, we're family, are we animals? We're never done. But you have Melissa pretty much being like, yeah, I get what you mean. So this to me tells me that Melissa is done, but Joe isn't, but they've been trying to act like there's some united front when it feels like this is just a carousel of madness. Teresa says she's done, but then she's like, but he's my family. Joe says the same thing, but she's my family. And then you got Melissa and I don't know about Louis, but Melissa being like, I'm kind of ready to get off of this train. I feel like at this point, they need to be done. I keep telling y'all, I'm kind of over Jersey, and it's more so because of Teresa and Melissa. I don't care about their family being fractured anymore. Like, we're on season 13. If y'all could have got this together by season, like, I don't know, 9 or 8, maybe I would have been more understanding. But at this point, y'all know where y'all stand with each other. Y'all have to accept that y'all are not going to be the family that you dreamed y'all would be or think you guys are, because y'all aren't that. Joe and Melissa are going to have to figure out how to have a storyline beyond Teresa, because if you really look at it, none of their stories really slap unless it's them having contention with Teresa. Same with Teresa. Teresa is going to stop having to be like, but I want my family. Your family doesn't want you, and you don't seem to want him either. So at this point, just move accordingly, be with weird ass Louis, and have your family and march on. At this point, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. All right, you guys, so this review is probably going to be different because I think I just might want to rant for a minute. But honestly, y'all, I'm not really feeling Jersey. I feel like at this point, I'm kind of over the sibling beef. Not kind of, I am over the sibling beef. You know, Jersey to me and Potomac are like a toxic relationship where you have hope that it's going to get better, but you know deep down it's not going to. It's going to be the same old, but you go into the relationship being like, no, this one, it's different. We've had time to heal. We've both been apart from each other. It's going to be different. And then you get into it and you like, girl, it's gotten worse. And I feel like that's how I feel about New Jersey. I feel like this whole Donna Marco situation is stupid to me at this point. Like, I get people being frustrated. I get people's feelings being hurt by Teresa not inviting Melissa's mom. But I don't think it's that deep that this storyline needed to be threaded throughout the whole entire season. And we are now on episode 10 and we still talking about this. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I feel like everybody is trying to be a part of this. You got Jennifer being a part of it, Melissa jumping in, Jennifer Fessler jumping in. Now you got Rachel jumping. It's like everybody's trying to be a part of it. Margaret's a part of it. Everyone's a part of it, but it's like this situation isn't that deep to me. Like, just because Donna Marco was cool with the granddaddy does not mean that Teresa had to invite her. Now, should Teresa have invited her? I don't know, because at the end of the day, if I'm footing the bill and I don't want you there, you're not going to make me feel bad. But I also feel as though it wouldn't have killed Teresa to invite her, because there was a lot of Bravo celebrities that were invited to the wedding that like Teresa had only known for like 10 minutes. That it was just kind of like the lady's mama could have been there. It wouldn't have killed you to have her sit at one of them tables. But it's her choice. I just feel like at this point, I just need Melissa and Teresa just to be like, we don't like each other, but we can coexist. So, because I'm tired of them both trying to like rag on each other by expecting things from each other when y'all have clearly shown in each other's actions that y'all don't fool with one another, that y'all don't like one another. Like, we had a scene where Jennifer and Danielle were at a boutique with Melissa, and Jennifer's asking Danielle like, Jennifer's asking Melissa, like, do you feel some type of way about me and Dolores being bridesmaids and you're not being one at Teresa's wedding? And Melissa was like, no, but you can tell that she's kind of like, like it bothers her, but she doesn't want to let it be. But she was just kind of like, Jennifer's like, the olive, like it was an olive branch. And I got why Melissa didn't take it in the beginning of the season, because I wouldn't take it, girl. But I also feel like, then stop talking about like, this is so sad. Like Jennifer said, like, girl, y'all are not family like that. Y'all only family because of blood, but like in y'all's actions, y'all are not family. So why can't we just like move on and move past one another and just coexist as co-workers? I think it's just stupid at this point. Then you got Danielle being so butthurt by Rachel that I'm like, Danielle, it's not that deep, but I get it. She trying to solidify her spot and have beef with Rachel, but I don't think it's that deep. Rachel going back and telling Margaret what you said, I thought it was lame of her, because I thought y'all were like building this whole like newbie alliance kind of thing, or newbie friendship. But for her to call her a rat, it was not that deep. Like, girl, like, this is not Mob Wives. It's not that deep. It really isn't that deep. You got caught up because you thought Rachel was going to be like on your side, and Rachel isn't, because Rachel has decided to attach her name and her, like, her wagon to Margaret and Melissa. And just like you attached your wagon to Teresa and Jennifer. So the ladies finally get to Ireland. Everyone's super excited while they're on the sprinter. Jennifer Fessler lets us know that she banged the main character off of The Sopranos. And I don't remember the guy's name. I know he was like a really good actor, but when The Sopranos came out, I was like a kid and I was not interested in like mafia stuff. So it didn't, like, that show never resonated with me. But I knew he was a good actor because I saw other things that he was in. But I was just like, okay, girl, that's a cute little like fun fact about yourself. So they finally get to the castle. It's like 9 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms. Honestly, I wouldn't have wanted to stay there if I'm being all the way honest. Like, castles are not what I thought they would be. Like, when I was younger, I totally thought castles were like what you saw out of like a fairy tale, out of like Cinderella and stuff like that. Or like, what's it called? Like Aladdin, like very, like, I will say non-European castles are very beautiful, but European castles, they don't slap. They really don't. And I was like, it just reminded me of all the documentaries that I've seen about how the royals would live and how I know them castles had to be fumigated and sprayed down with bleach, because every documentary I've seen about royals pretty much lets me know the castle was infested with STDs and staph infections because they were pooping in corners and they was all messing around with each other, and it was a lot of inbreeding. Because I just found a new fact about royals, how a lot of them had syphilis, and it wasn't even due to like sexual relations. Really, it was more so due because royals would overconsume sugar, and sugar was not readily available to like the common people. So royals would lose their teeth because they were consuming too much sugar, and then they would go to like the local dentist, and a lot of the teeth that the royals would put in their mouths would be teeth that were pulled out by the dentist, who were pulling out commoners' teeth. And like, syphilis was prevalent with them. And when they would put those teeth in their mouth that were affected with syphilis, they would get syphilis. I was like, Lord, I would never want to be royal. Because my God, today, no. So I was like, I would have told Dolores, y'all need to give me an Airbnb. And I know Hilton, Marriott, the Four Seasons is over there in Ireland. Give me a stay with one of them, because I don't want to live here. I don't want to live here. No, thank you. I don't even care if y'all got Wi-Fi. I don't want to live in this castle. Not for 3 days, not for a week, not for years. But they're in the castle. They all sit down to have lunch. The topic of conversation of the psychic comes up, and they're all ragging Jennifer because they feel like Jennifer fed the lady information. It comes out that Jennifer probably did feed her information. I thought it was a cute scene. Jennifer was trying her best to defend herself. They then start to get on the topic of Laura, aka Margaret's friend. And I don't care what none of you Margaret stands say. And I like Margaret. Even though I like Jennifer, I like Margaret. They're both the same person. They're just two sides of the same coin to me. They just have the same traits, but it shows up differently in both of them. But they're both gutter snipes. And Margaret, you can see Margaret gets uncomfortable when you mention Laura. Margaret's facial features and her body language shifts every time they mention Laura. Part of me feels like it's because, the death of a friendship is sometimes a lot more harder to take than the death of like a relationship with like a significant other. But I also feel like Margaret knows Laura knows her tea. And the fact that everyone's so quick to discredit Laura because they talk about Laura trying to get on the show 3 times and just being angry that Margaret didn't help her successfully get on the show doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is that, like, sis, that's your friend, which means you've been friends with that lady for 20 years. Birds of a feather flock together. Y'all were probably gossiping about them. That's the thing about Bill. You knew about Bill. Margaret knew about Bill and brought it to the show. I honestly believe, even though I felt like Teresa was wrong for bringing up the Evan rumor, I believe that came from Margaret's camp because Joe, her husband, confirmed it. And the way that Margaret got so viscerally angry at Joe when they were down at Jersey Shore, forcing him to say that he didn't know what he was talking about, makes me feel like, Margaret, yes, sis, you was running that rumor. And then now this rumor with like Melissa and Nick. Basically, the rumor is that a mutual friend or a mutual co-worker or whatever of Laura and Margaret's caught Melissa or saw Melissa in the backseat of the car making out with some baseball player named Nick. And that is what Jennifer tells Danielle. And Danielle's now all of a sudden like, oh my God, I wish I would have never asked. And I was like, girl, shut up. You know the tea, move accordingly. My thing about it is... Jennifer, y'all know I like Jennifer, but Jennifer puts her foot in her mouth all the time when it comes to how she goes about dealing with Margaret. The issue is the women don't like Jennifer, and they hold a double standard for Jennifer because Jennifer can do the same thing or say the same thing or get as gutter or as nasty like Margaret, but everyone always faults Jennifer, but they never fault Margaret for it. And Jennifer will scream to the rooftops about how much of a bad person that Margaret is, but at the end of the day, they still rock with Margaret. So I'm looking at Jennifer like, Jennifer's telling Danielle this to prove that, like, yeah, girl, this is what Laura told me. And she was saying that, like, her and Margaret are the ones that be, like, you know, going around talking about these rumors. And my thing about it is, like, girl, they still not going to be cool with you. At the end of the day, you're going to be in trouble because they're going to look at you like, why'd you bring this information to the show? And you're going to be the one that gets in trouble for it. They're never going to be on your side because they don't like you. And you trying so hard to be cool with these people and be friends with them and to prove to them that, like, you know, you're like, you know, I'm trying to warn you guys. It's not going to work because at the end of the day, they don't like you. So let the chips fall where they may. My thing about it is I believe that Margaret and Laura we're talking about these rumors. I believe they spreaded some of these rumors. But at the end of the day, the ladies like her. They like kicking it with Margaret more than they like kicking it with Jennifer. So Jennifer needs to move on. Danielle trying to have beef with Margaret, I think, is stupid. But I also feel like we could go somewhere with this. Like, I would be totally surprised if Danielle is the one that it really exposes Margaret, or something really like, or the tide shifts in the group because Danielle finds something out about Margaret, or, you know, Margaret finds out something very crazy or salacious about Danielle and brings it to the show. Either way, I feel as though we just need to move on from everyone trying to prove that Margaret is, like, you know, the evil mastermind, or she's the one with the strings like they did with Lisa Vanderpump. Because at the end of the day, the ladies still don't like Jennifer or Danielle. So trying to prove that to them should not be what they're trying to do. And then you have the, like, last scene was them having that argument at the table and Jennifer telling Melissa that, like, you're invited out of obligation, which is true. Like, I'm only inviting you because you're my brother's wife. I don't really like you. But Jennifer just should have sat there and ate her food, because everyone at the table ended up eating her up and getting in her ass about even interjecting or saying that. And even Teresa told her, like, I don't need help from you. So to me, I feel like Jennifer needs to start moving on her own and just being, like, by herself. It was funny to me because I saw somebody online say, you know, if Jennifer and Margaret became friends, they would run this show. And I was like, they would. They would. I feel like the show would be even more enjoyable if they could just be friends. But they don't want to be friends. They're committed to being adversaries. And at this point, it's kind of like, okay, y'all gonna beef, but y'all are still gonna continue to film together. And I'll give Jersey credit. They don't kind of like oust people out or ice people out. So I think they're always still gonna be in the mix with one another. But at this point, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.